Hi, welcome to this week's Fireside Chat from my kitchen. Although I'm really glad that I'm in my kitchen, which is nice and warm because outside right now it's snowy and stormy and the buses are canceled. So it's good to be working from home today. And I want to thank Judy for her willingness to work from home and record all of this and make sure the technology moves smoothly. And that just makes my job a whole lot easier, believe me. So thank you, Judy. As we are in the midst of a second wave and it continues with increased numbers of infections, many of us might think back to the good old days, way back before this worldwide pandemic. Some think back just a little too far. So maybe it's best to think about the current time and a more bucolic scene to calm us down. I know it's a terrible pun. If we go back to the 70s, some odd anomalies make us wonder about reality. Even just thinking back to our youth can lead to interesting consequences as we move into our senior years. And just thinking back to the beginning of this pandemic, when panic buying of toilet paper was all the rage, we can make good use of the excess. Or perhaps this purpose at Christmas. When we think of all the lost jobs over the past months, these may not be the jobs we considered had been lost. Indeed, when people work from home, cooking assignments might change with disastrous results. When we give up on cooking our own food, we might get creative with what we have ordered in, making new Christmas things with the leftovers. Now that we're into our 9th month living with this pandemic, there's a certain amount of fatigue setting in. The second wave has increased concerns about safety for ourselves, for our families, and for those in long-term care, and for the businesses struggling to survive within the limitations of the public health directives. We get a little surly. We find ourselves with shorter tempers. Nevertheless, in this season of Advent, the season dedicated to waiting for the coming birth of the infant Jesus, we too need to wait, to cultivate patience, to prepare. Here's a video featuring the members of the band The Bare Naked Ladies, Michael Bublé and Sophia Reyes, that provides a humorous musical take on how we gotta be patient.
A 1, 2, 3. Ooh, wop, wop. Ooh, wop, wop. Ooh. I just wanna see my friends. I wanna walk the street again. But I gotta be patient. So let's enjoy this combination. I just wanna feel your love, 'cause Instagram is not enough for me. So I gotta be patient. Let's enjoy this combination. And every day we'll sing a song to make you dance until this ends. I just wanna see my friends. I wanna walk the streets again. So I gotta be patient. Let's enjoy this combination.
Si tienes ganas de salir, lo siento pero no. tienes que quedarte ahí. Pero cuando canto esta canción, ahí me brilla el corazón y me siento muy feliz. And every day we'll sing a song to make you dance until this ends.
I just wanna see my friends. I wanna walk the street again, but I gotta be patient. So let's enjoy this combination.
Every night and
So I gotta be patient. Let's enjoy this combination.
I gotta be patient.
gotta be.
So let's enjoy this combination.
That video relaxes me and keeps everything in perspective. After all, the past weekend we have been overwhelmed with rampant consumerism despite the pandemic restrictions. Last week ended with Black Friday, although the experience this year was somewhat subdued because retailers have stretched their sales over a much longer time. Yesterday was Cyber Monday, likely fueled by the massive shift of so many who now order merchandise online instead of going into brick and mortar retail spaces to shop. However, today has its own purpose. It is Giving Tuesday. Giving is certainly our Christian perspective on this season of Advent. The infant Jesus came as God's own self-giving. In response, according to the biblical birth narratives, the angels gave the gift of song. The shepherds gave the gift of their reverence and witness, while 2 years later, the Magi gave gifts that marked the significance of this humble reign in a child so seemingly helpless. For many in this pandemic time, we put on a brave face. We smile, we joke, we make light of how we feel by responding, "I'm fine, thank you." But inside, there is a different story. Consider this reflection written by writer Rachel Marie Martin in her book, The Brave Art of Motherhood. She was tired. No one could see the level of tired. They saw the outside, the one giving, smiling, showing up. And yet inside, she felt the fatigue, the tired of trying to keep up, the tired of agendas, the tired of worries. But she kept on. She kept on giving and loving. She kept on hoping. She kept on showing up. She knew her giving mattered. She pushed forward out of love, even in the tired. There are lives of quiet desperation all around us, and often lives we ourselves are living. However, we choose not to say anything. Instead, we cocoon in a reality of our own creating, shutting out what we don't wish to deal with. This image strikes me powerfully on this Giving Tuesday. Every person sitting on this bus is oblivious to the need of the old woman. Instead of giving their seat to her, they're shut away in their own digital world. I must admit to feeling disgust at those failing to offer their seat to the old woman. As soon as that thought crosses my mind, I remember a card I once read that said, "You can't hate someone whose story you don't know." You don't have to like the story or even the person telling you their story, but listening creates a relationship. We move closer to one another when we give the gift of ourselves and our attention. Margaret Wheatley is a writer, speaker, teacher, and sociologist who has worked across the globe with governments, with corporations, with nonprofits, and with universities studying organizational change and how we create healthy communities. In other words, she looks at the way the world works best and helps the rest of us see what is right in front of our eyes. In her book, A Simpler Way, she tells of a beautiful encounter between a teacher and a student. The teacher had a 16-year-old in her class who was disruptive. He would shout at the teacher and other students. Instead of calling the principal in for disciplinary action, she simply sat down next to him. He got up and paced. It took some time for him to settle. Eventually, he sat close to her and she began asking him questions about his life. He talked to her, telling her stories that he hadn't told anyone in a long time. She didn't give advice. She didn't try to fix him. She didn't need to because he was working out his life as he talked. He needed to be heard, so she offered him that simple gift. She listened. I likely don't need to convince you that we could all stand to do more listening to one another. However, I do wonder what it will take for us to realize that we should do more listening, that to be faithful in these days means that we should embrace less doing so that we create more space for being. I guess in many ways, I am now speaking to myself. But on this Giving Tuesday, let's consider how to prepare for the advent of Jesus' birth. In our waiting, as we cultivate patience, prayer can be that place within which to listen for God's guidance for our generosity through giving. Do you pray? Before you answer on the other side of this screen, consider this definition of prayer. Prayer doesn't just happen when we kneel or when we put our hands together to focus our thoughts on expectations of what we want from God. Instead, thinking positive thoughts and wishing good for others is a prayer. When you elbow bump a friend or take time to chat on the phone, that's a prayer. When you cook something to nourish those safely in your household with you, that's a prayer. When you bid farewell to others, telling them to stay safe and stay well, that is a prayer. When you're helping someone in need through the local food bank or supporting Women's House or donating to our church or giving your time and your energy to purchasing groceries or medications for a neighbor who should not go out, that is a prayer. When you forgive someone in action and deep within your heart, that's a prayer. Prayer is a vibration, a feeling of connection, a thought of compassion, and the voice of love. Prayer is an expression of your silent being, of your soul. It makes a difference, not just in giving to the other, but also for your own self and for your own soul. That is the simplicity of the first Christmas for which we prepare in Advent. It's okay if yours is simple too. On this Giving Tuesday, when we feel that fatigue, that weight in the midst of waiting and preparing, I want to offer you a poem written by Reverend Elizabeth Stevens about the hard work of hope in the face of resistance and in anticipation of the subsequent long walk of transformation when we give of ourselves. It takes time, but it is a giving that changes the world. Reverend Stevens writes, "Oh, my dear ones, I know you're hoping for a once and done, for an earthquake, a tidal wave, hoping that if we give it our all, a single push would be enough. That after this we could sink back into complacency, back into the comfort of our privilege. I confess, in the secret corners of my heart, I wanted to believe it could be that easy, that justice would emerge as from an egg, fully grown, not with wet down and weak wings. But beloveds, we are chipping away at a mountain, not a boulder. Calcified structures created to oppress, control, kill. Thousands of years with this stupid idea that some are more worthy, some deserve more power by virtue of who they are, what they look like, which tribe they claim. Erosion is slow work, sweethearts. Celebrate the progress, the triumphs. Celebrate also the heartbreaking, almost. Breathe. Rest for a time, then get up and turn again toward kindness, toward your neighbor in need, toward those who are still trapped in the stone. Tell them, I won't give up. Tell them, I am with you. Tell them, for you, I will learn to eat rocks. For you, I will keep chewing, keep grinding until the mountain crumbles to dust. I am sharing this video with you as a prayer to reflect this time of waiting, of preparing, of enduring, of giving one to each other. Just one warning, there is one swear word early in the video that frankly accurately names our individual and collective frustration as we wait. This is a gift to each of us, a prayer that holds all of us together as one.
This is the keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going on song. This is the keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going on song.
This is the keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going on song.
I am Abigail, and this is Sean, and we're so glad that you've turned this on and welcomed us into your home, and you are welcome into our home. We're in Dayton, Ohio. We're in Sean's parents' house.
My parents' house.
Sean's parents' house. We were in Louisville when the shit hit, and we packed our 3-year-old into a car. We drove kind of far. We drove here, and we've been so lucky and blessed to be safely here. And we thought we'd be here for like 10 days, tops.
What did we know?
What did we know?
What
What did we know? We thought we knew a lot. We thought we knew a lot. Woo! Keep going on song. This is a keep going, keep going, keep going on. Keep going on song. This is a keep going, keep going, keep going on. Keep going on song. And we've been mostly healthy. We've been okay. Are you okay? Are you all right? Are you okay? Are you all right? Are you okay? I hope your body is whole tonight. And if your heart is breaking, I hope it's breaking open. And if your breath is shaking, I hope it's shaking through. And I hope that you've watched a lot of really great television, like a lot of it. And I hope that you find a hand lotion that actually makes your skin feel better. And I hope that you have enough to eat. I hope you're getting enough sleep, and I hope you have enough good company or enough good memory to last you a long time. Keep going, keep going, keep going on. Keep going on song. We sing the keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going on. Keep going on song. Let's bring some joy into the room, why not? We can try it, we can try it. Or some rage,
Keep going, keep going.
and some grief and relief.
Keep going, keep going.
just a fire that cleans my mind out and makes me ready to listen. I pray my pain is a river that flows to the ocean that connects my pain to yours. And I pray my happiness is like pollen that flies to you and pollinates your joy. Oh boy, is that possible? I don't know. We are making this up as we go. We have to make it up as we go. The keep going song, oh, we're making it up. We're making it up as we go. Keep going on. Keep going on, song. And I pray that when we meet again, that the world has changed into the world that we are imagining now together. And I pray that the world has become the world that we're planting inside of ourselves for each other and for our ancestors and for our kids. Ooh, and we're gonna start. This is
Well, it's almost time to say farewell. But first, I want to thank Art Postuma for keeping me on the path of factual truth. During last week's Fireside Chat, I mentioned that about 75,000 bikers filled Port Rowan on Friday, November 13th for a Friday the 13th gathering. I had been given that information from a colleague who lives in Port Rowan. Unfortunately, the information was wrong. Instead, while the picture I used was from the local newspaper that day, the actual number of bikers that gathered was closer to 500. Quite a difference. I will be more careful in the future at checking my own facts before making use of the information I receive, and I apologize for that misinformation. I'd also like to say thank you to Terry Boyd, who in his lake house is right on the shores of Lake Huron, and the waves in this wind are probably piling up. And with all the snow coming, thank you, Terry, for rendering this video for our YouTube channel. I want to leave you with a Celtic blessing used for the Canticle at morning prayer, taken from the Celtic Daily Prayer Book used at the Northumbria community in northeastern England. Christ is a light. Illumine and guide me. Christ as a shield, overshadow me. Christ under me, Christ over me, Christ beside me, on my left and my right. This day be within and without me, lowly and meek, yet all-powerful. Be in the heart of each to whom I speak, in the mouth of each who speaks unto me. This day be within and without me, lowly and meek, yet all-powerful. Christ as a light, Christ as a shield, Christ beside me on my left and my right. Until next week, I pray you are blessed to give and to receive. Stay safe. Stay well. Goodbye.